How much rugby has changed in the last decade is visible in the optimistic attitude that now surrounds Ireland heading into their Chicago rematch with the All Blacks. Andy Farrell's squad traveled to America last Tuesday, fully believing they can pick off New Zealand this Saturday. The score on Farrell's watch as the Irish boss versus the Kiwis is currently at break-even. 3 wins and 3 losses since he took over from Joe Schmidt. It's a record not to be sniffed at, given the situation when Ireland last traveled to the USA to face the All Blacks. Heading into that November 2016 encounter, Ireland had never defeated New Zealand in 28 matches until then, a history that dated back to 1905. However, Ireland shocked the world at Soldier Field with a fully deserved 40-29 win, and the impact of that breakthrough isn't lost on the current generation of Irish players. In the past, several Irish teams were beaten before they even took the pitch against the All Blacks, and it was only in 2012 when they were humiliated 0-60 in Hamilton. Irish no longer view the Kiwis as superior. That All Blacks aura, though, has been diluted since then to such an extent that wing Tommy O'Brien is in Chicago this week, unnerved by the prospect of facing Scott Robertson's side. O'Brien is a 27-year-old international rookie with just 2 caps and 4 tries to his name, both appearances coming on the recent July tour to Georgia and Portugal that was led by interim boss Paul O'Connell with head coach Farrell elsewhere, leading the British and Irish Lions to their Test series win over Australia. You'd imagine O'Brien's lack of experience at the highest level would have him worried about what is to come this weekend. But Ireland's overall record of 5 wins and 5 losses in 10 matches against New Zealand, starting with that famed Chicago breakthrough, is emblematic of how the Irish no longer view the Kiwis as superior. Everyone has very fond memories of 2016, said O'Brien, who was 18 at the time. I was just out of school, but I remember watching it and being delighted with the guys. I watched it down in Gleason's with a couple of my friends. It's the local pub in Butterstown, Dublin. I watched it with a load of my friends. And one of my good friends, Jack Ringrose, is the brother of Gary, and Gary was on the bench that day, so it was a pretty special day. That New Zealand team had come off the back of the 2011 and 2015 World Cups and were obviously a very successful team. But since then, I guess that was the breaking of the barrier in 2016, and we have managed to beat them a couple of times since. We definitely don't put them up on a pedestal. We respect them, and they are a good team. We are looking forward to the challenge of facing them, but no fear of them. Before making it onto the pitch with Ireland in the summer, O'Brien was given a taste of how things operate as he was involved with the squad in the lead-up to what essentially was the title-deciding Six Nations match versus France last March. My first exposure was the week of the France game in the Six Nations. I was parachuted in, and it was a really intense week with so much at stake, he said. It felt a bit more parachuted in, but I got a bit of exposure during the summer tour, being around the environment for a couple of weeks. A good few guys were away with Lions. Coming in the last few weeks, I have definitely felt more comfortable. While O'Brien insisted Ireland don't have New Zealand up on a pedestal, he did admit that he was impressed as a teenager by the talents of Mae Nonu and Conrad Smith. When I was growing up, they would have been on that pinnacle, he said. When I was growing up, I was more of a center, so I loved watching Mae Nonu and Conrad Smith. Conrad Smith would have been someone that I would have tried to emulate. He wasn't the biggest guy, but he just worked so hard. He was always in the right position, and I read an article recently enough that he was talking about it. The way he got in so many squads was he made himself someone that was almost impossible to drop. The coaches loved him because he just did everything right, so that is something that I try and do. I try and listen to everything that has been said and try to implement the game plan to the best of my ability.